culture is actually
The goddamn run the
There's a man down.
calling both games.
This video and all the chaos surrounding it is brought to you by SeaKey. They are the opposite of chaos. They believe in stability. And that's why they've been my go-to app for tickets available on the resale market for a long time. Even before I started doing these vids. Their premise is simple. They aggregate all tickets available for resale from red to green on a 1 to 10 scale. The higher the score, the better the deal. You can get a view from where you'll be sitting before purchase as well. To ensure a win before game day, use the code TREE in the link below for $20 off your first purchase. As always, that's only with SeaKey. Now for the inevitable chaos. God help us all. No matter how hard you try to avoid it, everyone must pay the piper. The man's come knocking on Tampa's door asking for compensation for the ring he helped them get. Probably comes in the form of most of their secondary being out with injury. Both teams took turns making Al Michaels swig a flask of whiskey in the booth until Baltimore managed to adjust their game plan in the second half. Who knew that running the ball more than one play a drive will lead to opening up the offense? It is the thing they're best at. Tampa halted it as well as a stick stopping a flood. The most surprising thing about this game is that Baltimore didn't manage to squander a double-digit lead for once. Tampa's in deep shit. Brady is falling off to the sounds of a one-dimensional offense and shitty coaching. It's Tom's first 3-game losing streak since 2002 and the first time one of his teams is 2 games under 500. The end might be here, Bucks. Pay up. I was wondering when the traditional Jags home game in London would take place. Jacksonville tends to do oddly well here. Hell, they're bursting out to a quick double-digit lead. Chef Russ is too busy doing high knees on the sidelines to notice Trevor Lawrence is going to make his case. The case was botched during the opening argument at the 1-yard line. Now we see why the NFL put this game behind a paywall on ESPN+. No one should have to witness such horrors. This game was as much a shit show as the British Parliament. Unfortunately, Nathaniel Hackett's tenure as Broncos coach will last longer than 45 days. Jacksonville tries to fight to take the lead in the fourth, but their defense chose to pay tribute to clowns by bumbling around and ruining everything. They gave up red zone touchdowns to Denver. Multiple red zone touchdowns. That is damning all its own. You sure this is a pretty good team, Trevor? Since you opened your mouth, the Jags have lost 5 in a row. Everyone lost today. Jacksonville's back in hell and Denver's stuck on the ride that will never end. False hope consumes Broncos fans' whole. I can definitely relate to that. We told you already, Raiders, you can't play the Houston Texans every week. If you look like shit against an aging injury-prone outfit like New Orleans, we have to question what the fuck you're actually doing over there. It feels like we got transported back to 2018 because this was an absolute beatdown. Suffocation by the Saints like they were captured by the insurrection. New Orleans may be looking to trade Alvin Kamara for a haul, but with this game it might give them enough false hope to hold serve. It's easy to look good against a Josh McDaniels team. This offensive mastermind was so stymied that the Raiders only accrued 183 yards for the day. They didn't get past midfield until about 3.5 minutes left in the game. A day so awful that Derek Carr got benched for Jarrett Stidham, who was somehow hiding in McDaniels' duffel bag for months. What a pathetic display. Should have kept Bisaccia, boys. What do you get when you have 2 teams that feature no offense whatsoever? You get Bill Belichick still managing to find a way to troll the Jets. It's a testament to the horrors of the 2021 quarterback class. Mac Jones has greatly regressed into a man who can barely throw a game, let alone a football. Zach Wilson, on the other hand? Dude is Patrick Mahomes if he had no football savvy whatsoever. Terrible throw after terrible throw, or you wonder how the hell this guy was a 2nd overall pick. We were all waiting for the 3-pick game from Wilson this year. This was it. Even their defense was getting cucked by New England. Oh, did you have a big touchdown on an interception of Mac Jones?
Nothing for you.
Oh, that's a bad boy. I think that's roughing the passer on the defense. Even in a season where the Jets seem to be turning the corner, they can't escape their humiliation fetish to the Patriots. Don't repress your feelings, Jets. You secretly like the boot on your face. You want more of it. Oh boy, a cross-state rivalry where the Eagles make Pittsburgh die like the steel mills. What a tremendous moment for us all. What the fuck are you guys? Hey, what are you doing? Hey, stop touching me! I want my goddamn phone call! Tonight, on Days of Our Steelers, the shameless remakes continue as there is no creativity in media whatsoever. Everywhere you look, the black and gold brigade is falling to pieces. Without endless bullshit and high-end talent to bail them out, Philadelphia took no time in dissecting their opponent. Turns out it's hard to win football games when you take a ton of penalties and have no one to cover A.J. Brown. Or anyone to cover Kenny Pickett in the pocket. In this destruction, Kenny went scorched earth in the post-game press conference. The team doesn't study enough. They keep making the same fuck-ups over and over again. Mike Tomlin and his assistants sit around looking like expired coaching products. Philly dominated so blatantly that Batman made an appearance on the sidelines. Will the Steelers do anything to right the ship? Or will they simply chuck TJ Watt out there to drunkenly stumble back to 500? Like losing ways are slowly consuming the franchise, so are the days of our Steelers. Honeymoon's over, Bears. The time has come for you to get shredded feet first in an industrial grinder. You can give Justin Fields some help anytime you want, Chicago. I get he has flaws, but when he's soloing the group quest, he's bound to be sentenced to death. No matter what he did, everything around him died. The team defense couldn't stop a damn thing against the Cowboys. The offensive stars of Dallas destroyed all hope. Was Robert Quinn really that vital to this group performing? If it's not that, how about a brutal fumble which destroyed any chance of this team coming back in the second half? Giving up 49 points, regardless of how, is usually not a good sign that you're going to win a game. Dallas just rolled over their opponent like they were nothing. Perhaps someday Fields won't be killed by the team around him. It'll probably happen with another franchise, though. Defense need not apply in Detroit. More shocked that I'm seeing offenses not completely self-destruct on a football field for once. Like many things in their city, the Lions went for a throwback. They storm out to an impressive early lead against an opponent that needs to win to keep pace in the AFC. This may be the time that Detroit embraces their fan-favorite mentality, but then you remember, the Lions have no defense. They throw out 11 of those tackling sleds from the old Madden games. Tua is simply playing precision passing on rookie difficulty. He aced it. With their inability to stop Miami on anything resembling forward movement, Detroit imitated their play under Matt Patricia. Stall out with a big lead and proceed to piss away the game. Miami managed to find their defense under some rubble. Or was it the other way around? I'm just confused. Kind of like chucking it deep on a 4th and 1. I don't know if Detroit's overthinking everything or just so smooth-brained they think it's genius. You do all that shit just to go back to the basement? I would say the Cardinals fans should be rooting for their team to lose, but we all know the Bidwells are too inept to do the right thing. They'll let their team be run into the ground and they'll do it with a smile on their face. Against Minnesota, Arizona lived up to the Cardinal rule. Whenever you have a chance to win, find a way to screw the pooch. Their opponent was definitely beatable. The Vikings apparently met with their ancestors beforehand. It apparently caused them to hallucinate and shit themselves in a ton of situations. Even then, the Cards find ways to fuck it up. Kyler Murray misused his kill streak perk and made another foolish pass for a pick. Minnesota fumbled to give Arizona prime field position. Good news, Kyler fucked the ball again. Another brutal interception when being down by 1 score. An ill-conceived turnover on downs. As I said, they are aggravatingly bad, even with DeAndre Hopkins playing God himself. Here's some film for you to study, Cliff. Why is Pat Pete able to rightfully shit on the organization and launch a tactical nuke? Even he's shitting on Kyler. One of these teams will lead the NFC South after this game. These were supposed to be bottom feeders in this godforsaken division 2 months ago. Yet God forsook us unwashed masses for our arrogance. Chaos must reign supreme over the land. This was another game of our times. And it's why it has to be separated into its own video. Why, you ask? Eddie Pinheiro. Good work, sir. Your performance is worthy of Lol Cow of the Week. Make a damn kick, for fuck's sake, man. This matchup got a good bit closer than we thought. In theory, Tennessee should destroy the living tank made up of second-hand parts. This was unanimously believed until Ryan Tannehill was ruled out of the game due to illness. A grossly undercooked Malik Willis will be the man under center for this match. He may be nowhere near ready to play as a QB, but who needs that when Derrick Henry can destroy worlds? He's had 6 200-yard rushing days in his decorated NFL career. 4 of them have come against Houston. They aren't the tank of tanks simply because they want to upend a contender. The Texans will bow down to the former tenants of the city like they were the '85 Bears. Under 100 yards of offense by Houston until garbage time. You don't need a competent quarterback to win this kind of game. Be thankful you were playing a shitty team, Titans. Any other opponent in this may have gone a lot worse. Remember the absolute laws of the NFL. Overreact to everything. When in doubt, it's a personal foul. And most importantly, San Francisco must defeat the Rams in regular season combat. LA is weak and ripe for the kill. The true power of Christian McCaffrey must be unleashed upon the world. CMC will achieve something rarely seen in the football realm. The Triple Crown. A rushing, receiving, and passing touchdown all in one game. Someone tell Taysom Football he's got some competition. With this convincing win, the Niners have made their statement to the world that they need to be taken seriously as contenders. And this was done without Deebo Samuel. The upside of this offense is immense, and it was flashed against a supposed contender in the Rams. If everything's clicking, San Fran can be very dangerous, and they have time to hone their craft. Mr. Shanahan, it's time to prove the claims of you being the greatest offensive mind in football correct. The Sam Ehlinger era has begun in Indianapolis. It doesn't have the same aura as their previous temporary QB reigns, but a win is expected nonetheless. It's tougher than expected. The problem for Indy was not in Ehlinger. He did a relatively solid job considering the circumstances. Indy's self-destruction came at the hands of everything else. There are fewer things that fell faster than the Colts' offensive line. Maybe the Berlin Wall, but at least they had to work to take that down. The Commies' defense managed to show up and embarrass them anytime they got close to the red zone. Jonathan Taylor's a top running back in the league? Oh, not with how badly he's been fumbling opportunities as of late. But even then, despite continually tripping over themselves, the Colts have done just enough to secure a lead. The defense is carrying big time, but the offense can't budge. There's one more drive to hold on with a 6-point lead. However, they made one deadly mistake, doubting Washington's resolve.
Heineke, looking, Heineke. They keep the play alive again. He flips it downfield, and McLaurin, the hometown kid, hauls it in at the 1-yard line. What a grab!
Grown men. The eternally underrated Terry McLaurin with an amazing grab. Taylor Heineke's body made of grit sandpaper and has at least 100 dogs in him. The same can't be said for Michael Pittman.
What is Sam Ehlinger going to do? Over the middle. Oh, it's dropped.
That was a dime right in your fucking lap. How the hell did you drop it? That may have won Indy the game if you got it. But alas, the Colts are doomed to wither and die. How the hell is Washington at 500? Tell any fan of the NFL back in August that this was going to be the only match with both opponents over 500 in Week 8. You'd have been insta-banned from any platform or chat room you dared to speak about this on. The Giants and Seahawks had no expectations headed into the year. Yet both are running with the opportunity. The G-men, this is quite literal. Maybe they'll acquire competent receivers and linemen in this next lifetime. The Seahawks have a balanced attack, led by the surprising combination of K9, Tyler Lockett, and the modern answer to Rich Gannon and Geno Smith. Somewhere, Ben McAdoo is pleasuring himself to somehow being justified in benching Eli for him. It was a tenacious game, one that exemplified old-school defensive football. The Giants could not break out of Seattle's web. They'll try and capitalize on Seattle's mistakes, but every time they get a chance to, Richie James will find a way to fuck up on punt return duty. Congratulations, Richie. You are now the most hated man in New York outside of Hal Steinbrenner. Seattle secures the win and potential legitimacy as a contender in the post-Russ age. In the end, Geno can only thank those responsible for his ascension. Ben McAdoo and Jerry Reese. See? You can get revenge for past slights in this league. After last week's humiliating loss to the Commies, Green Bay was hoping for a bounce-back game. I hate to tell them this, but their next opponent is Buffalo in Buffalo. They are a well-oiled machine that stops for nothing, not even underachieving offensive units. The Packers will predictably lose because they lack the strength and firepower that they had in previous seasons. Sacrifice is on the menu in Buffalo, and it's always their opponent. All you can do if you're in Wisconsin is look for silver linings. At least you didn't get completely fucking destroyed by the Bills? The NFC is enough of a mosh pit that you can secure a wildcard spot? They finally managed to utilize the damn running game to positive effect? There's nothing to do but grasp at straws. Or if you're Jair Alexander, try and start a grudge with Stephon Diggs. Roughly half the league is in some stage of false hope. It only means more comedy for the rest of us down the line. Bengals slowly transform back into the Bungles. Was a nice year and change, but after this game, endless pain. This is also literally with Jamar Chase being out. With this injury, Zach Taylor apparently wiped the dust off his Diet McVay playbook from 2020. Barely run the ball, then wait for Joe Burrow to get killed by a porous offensive line. All that money you poured into it this offseason and you still can't fix it for shit. Cleveland dunked them in the damn toilet as a hazing exercise. Jacoby Brissett looked like an all-pro against this supposedly stout group. How the hell do you make a defense schemed by Joe Woods into one rivaling the 2015 Broncos? This was a team that thought having Amari Cooper throw a duck on a botched reverse was a good idea. How is Cincy the ones looking like shit? They say your conference games count as double, and the Bengals are 0-3 so far against the AFC North. Regression in nearly every facet of play. They end up missing the playoffs this year? Games like this are probably why. Football is a brutal game. May the bell toll for the fallen.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Thus concludes another week of this sermon on the field. Amen.
The winning quarterback will join us on set in just a little bit, breaking down this whole game. Stay with us. Hey everyone, I'm Carissa Thompson alongside Richard Sherman, Andrew Whitworth.
Oh, bring out the song. Bring out the song. Pay the man.
What is it?
Pay
say?
him. Pay him now.
I
love it.
Wow.